There's a freedom that comes with homeschooling
Yeah.
that I don't think we exercise as often as we should. We get stuck
Yes.
in this. If we don't finish the book, if we don't keep up with whoever, we're going to get behind. And our greatest fear is being behind.
We get to this part of the year and oftentimes we're just like exhausted, we're overwhelmed, we feel like things maybe just aren't working, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's time to kind of recalibrate and
Mm-hmm.
look at what we're doing and see if it's really working. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
certain, Rachel, that in your many years of homeschooling, you did that with your family.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to the homeschool mom who's listening right now, who's just like, I am tired, I'm overwhelmed, I'm bored,
Mm-hmm.
maybe my kids are bored, or maybe my kids are just not getting it, whatever it is that we're studying, they're just struggling
Yeah.
with it. How can we refresh our homeschool moving into this new year?
Yeah. Yeah, that is a very common issue that I think we all think we're the only ones that have ever suffered from that. We're the only ones that are not excited about the spring semester, right? Because we're supposed to be so excited about what we're doing in January, and we're just not.
Yeah.
No, I did have to do that several times, and I think it's all about giving ourselves permission to do that. There's a
Mm.
freedom that comes with
Yeah.
homeschooling that I don't think we exercise as often as we should. We get stuck
Yes.
in this, if we don't finish the book, if we don't keep up with whoever, right? We're going to get behind. And our greatest fear is being behind. And the reality
Yeah.
is, I taught in the public school system before I started teaching my kids at home, which don't think for a moment was an advantage. Story for another day. But I just want to tell you a secret. We never finished the book. So
Yeah.
the whole idea that we think, we've got to fight, we've got to, we got to just keep grinding. That's really not where it is at. And so I think it's all about backing up and remembering why you're doing this anyway. And I would suggest, and the late great Chris Davis, who owned a company called the Elijah Company, and I don't know if you can. I should look that up. He was
Yeah.
just
I've not
really,
heard of that.
yeah, he was really remarkable. He was actually
Okay.
the first conference workshop that I ever went to that I did not want to be at. He was the speaker. It was God ordained.
Okay.
And he talked about this fundamental concept that you've heard in other places. Are you lighting a fire or filling a bucket? He said that's basically your
Oh,
choice. The public school
wow.
system is really good at filling buckets, and
Yeah.
they assume all the buckets are the same and all the buckets need the same. And it's just, think of industrialization. Think of just going through
Yeah.
the line. They're getting the same thing. He said, what you have the opportunity to do as a homeschool parent is light a fire. Find out what
Yeah.
makes your kids tick. Find out about who they are before a holy, mighty God. Talk to them about their hopes
Yeah.
and dreams and go for it. Fan that flame, which means that
Yeah.
it's all going to be different, right? It's not, your kids are going to all be different.
Right.
So if you're sort of in the doldrums of January and February, and by the way, I happen to know a secret, and that is that February, though it looks like it's the shortest month on the calendar, is actually the longest. And if you can just get through February, March is coming. It can be January and
Yeah.
February can be tough. I mean, you're coming off the
Sure.
holidays,
Yeah.
right? May seems really far away, and it's cold and it's dreary outside. Just not my favorite time of
Yeah.
year, and it can
Right.
just be really, really difficult. And so, giving yourself the space to step back, and maybe you just turn course. Maybe you, instead of going right back into what you went into, what if you just pick up a new read aloud chapter book and you just do that? And maybe do
Mm.
another slow start back in, not just slam back into
Yeah.
everything all at once, but get
Yeah.
a really good, solid book. Talk to some of your friends, talk to older homeschoolers. That's what we're here for. Like,
Yeah.
find somebody who's been there, done that, and say, what is a book that all of your kids really loved? And circle the
Yeah.
wagons and just start by just taking the whole first week, quote, back, just reading
Yeah.
that book together, right?
Yeah.
And just enjoying being together. And then maybe the next week you build in math, and maybe the next week then you add in science. But instead of
Yeah.
just slamming all back into it, just start with a really great book. Maybe you even decide, let's start a new recipe this week, but really give yourself permission to change it up and switch it up and breathe.
Yeah.
Maybe it means you don't even start maybe until January 15th. You can do that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What we always did when we came back from Christmas, the first thing that we started back doing was writing thank you notes for all of the Christmas presents. So I'm all about teaching kids how to write thank you notes because it's handwriting. It's letter writing. They had to be a minimum of 3 sentences. It's spelling, it's grammar, it's gratitude.
Knowing how to write an address on an envelope.
Exactly. I mean, it's all these things. Yeah, I had a daughter who was in college and she dated a guy who she did not date for long, who did not know how to address an envelope. I mean, that's becoming a thing now in the digital age.
Yeah.
But our children should know how to do that. And then every thank you note had to include a verse of scripture. So it just, you're hitting on all cylinders. But that's what we would do the first week back is we focused on looking back at what they got for Christmas. I mean, it's really easy just to forget, right? But I would always keep the list of everything everybody got. And they all knew that that's what we were going to do. And often they got, miraculously, new stationery, right? And maybe a new fat pencil or a new marker set that they all wanted to use. And they could all, look at their presents and remember their presents and write their thank you notes. So, I mean, I think it's at the end of the day, it's all about giving yourself permission to change it up. And breathe. And just know, like you said a minute ago, you don't have to do it keep doing the same thing if it's not working.
Homeschool Insights is sponsored by CTC Math. If you're looking for a great online math program, visit ctcmath.com and try it for free. For more great homeschool inspiration and resources, listen to the Schoolhouse Rocked podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.